Nation, welcome to part number 9, and we actually have a little bit of a problem. There's a good chance that this is going to be finished, or this very part number 9, may actually be uploaded at a time which we've already hit 10,000 subscribers. So even though this question and answer idea was for 9,000 subscribers, give yourselves a round of applause, and thank you very much for all of the continued support. Now, let's get back where we left off with Evil Stack's question of ever listened to the band I do think I have. It's been a little while, but I'm trying to recall if I have or not. I think I do have some stuff on my computer. What's my favorite band t-shirt, asks Gay18862. It's a very good question. I have a couple of Iron Maiden shirts that I really like, a couple of Opeth shirts. I think I really like my my Porcupine Tree t-shirt, mainly because it's a gigantic syringe. It's for Anesthetize, the song of I Fear of a Blank Planet. I really, really treasure that shirt. There's a lot of memories attached to that show, considering my car got towed, and I spent a fair amount of time down at the Mr. Small's Funhouse waiting for reinforcements to show up. That way we could track down my car. It's kind of funny. So Stalingrad778 asks, of all the subgenres of metal, in general, which has the biggest emotional impact on you, and also your favorite deathcore band? I really don't have a favorite deathcore band, but whenever it comes to my favorite subgenre, probably progressive death metal, either that or there's a lot of great post-metal that just has really beautiful landscapes and beautiful instrumentalization that I really tend to enjoy. You know, that's the reason why bands like Alcest, and there was a song off of the last Fen record entitled Spectra that really got, you know, a lot of emotional attachment to it that I even shared on the Cover Killer Nation Facebook page, and stuff like that that really, you know, gets me going. Ninja47212, what country would you love to live in? I would love to live in Scandinavia. Not only because of the metal impact, but also because of the climate. I'm, you know, not necessarily, you know, a very fond person of a lot of snow. In fact, I really enjoy days like today where it's about 65 to 70 degrees out, and I do like it even a little bit warmer. However, I do like the fact that, you know, there's a lot of great shows over there. There's a great culture over there. It's one that I've always been relatively interested in, and if not there, then probably either England or maybe even Japan. I don't know. There's a lot of great things in all of those countries. We have Crazy Airco. What are your favorite Finnish metal bands? I just love Finland in general. I love Norway in general. I love Scandinavia in general. So I'm just not even going to answer that because I'm in love with those countries. I'm in love with the fact that they're able to put out just some really, really solid metal work, and it just seems like it always has such an impact and always has a little bit of a different awareness to it than a lot of other music. I mean, Him has really resonated a lot over here. It really hasn't resonated for me, but that just kind of shows you how one guy's idea can really perpetuate a whole entire movement, and the same can be said about bands like Children of Bodom, by, you know, black metal bands like Enslaved from other areas of Scandinavia, and of course Opeth resonates hugely with me as well. Do you think progressive bands are superior to other bands musically, asks the same gentleman? No, not necessarily. They might have the instrumentalization going for them and things like that, and they might show it a little bit more. However, it's all about how you're able to construct your songs. If your songs are constructed just with you, you know, showcasing your proficiency on your instruments, and the song itself really doesn't have that much meaning to it, then you're not necessarily a superior musician. You're just somebody who is showcasing your skills as opposed to really trying to convey emotion or really convey a message through song. And also, I mean, it's not necessarily everything. I mean, there are some lavish passages from Dream Theater that, you know, a couple of people would just kind of tap their foot at and be like, okay, can we move on to the next portion? That's the reason why a lot of people say that Dream Theater do nothing but whack off on their instruments, which in some cases is true, in some cases it's not. We're going to see in the Dream Theater discography where it's true and where it's not. Tekken Fan 82, favorite Sonata Arctica album. I really don't have a favorite. I really love their latest release. You know, they're just kind of a solid band that always had a little bit of something to offer, and you know, fans of that band are going to be a lot more critical toward their output, and while I am a fan of the band, I'm not like a super fan or anything like that. I'm somebody who just kind of appreciates the music for what it is. Let's see, we have Korn or Slipknot, and then somebody says he hates both. Korn is one of those bands that I could listen to the first 3 albums, and I could still really enjoy them today. Slipknot is a band where I could listen to Wait and Bleed and still enjoy it to this day, but aside from that, meh. I still feel the Path of Totality is the best Korn release in the past decade. I still feel that Corey Taylor has been able to do amazing things with Stone Sour, things that he's never done with Slipknot. What do you think of the delaying of the new Necrophagist album? Asks Victor Neclests. I'm just not even going to try to say that. Well, we waited and we got time eventually, so apparently this will eventually happen. Or it won't. Who knows? Who cares? I really liked their last release, but I really didn't catch on the bandwagon and really just latch on and, like, you know, masturbate to it, things like that. Just no. So, to me, it's neither tit nor tat. 467 Panos. Hey, man, thank you for all your videos. Greetings from Greece. My question is, what is your favorite death metal band? It can be progressive or melodic, whatever. Name two if you can, please, because I think that the first choice will obviously be Death. He's right. I love Death. I love Death. I love Obituary. You know, I love the Florida death metal scene a lot. It's kind of what got me into death metal, so I have a fond appreciation for it. Death metal is just something that has taken over the world. Took over the world, should I say, and has continued to really showcase that it does have some power and force. It's being able to infuse itself into more popular realms of metal. And through deathcore, I have to admit it, through deathcore, people are able to get a little bit more familiarized with the death metal growls. That way, whenever they detach themselves from deathcore and go into just traditional death metal, it'll be a more seamless transition for them. So there's a lot to be appreciated for deathcore and death metal, even though I'm not necessarily fond of deathcore to the same level that I'm fond of death metal, because I love death metal. Death Cult Ritual, what are your top 3 death metal band? Oh my gosh, I just answered this question. I love the Florida scene. Do you like the technical death metal band Origin? Asks Biza7023. Yeah, I actually did a review of one of their albums a little bit earlier, I think in 2011 or 2012. They're a very solid band. I've listened to them for a little while now. I know a guy, actually, who is, his name is Lee, who just absolutely loves these guys, and was, you know, that album coming out was kind of a critical point for his life, whether or not he was going to really enjoy it or not. It was very, you know, high up on his list of things that really mattered to him. So, you know, I like the band, but he definitely loves it. Placid Black, have you ever had a paranormal experience? And if had written a song, which band would you like to record and perform it? And happy birthday to you. I know this was like a month ago, but happy birthday, Placid Black. I've had a paranormal experience. It happened actually up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. There are numerous ghost stories that exist in this area, but it was one where I was in my car with a couple of friends, and there was a tale about a lady who plunged to her death over a river, and we were right around that same area, and we were just sort of sitting there waiting to see if anything would, you know, happen, and we were kind of just getting goofy there in the car, because it was just, you know, I don't think anybody really believed that it was going to happen. And then the windows all started to get extremely foggy. That included both the rear and the front windshield, and you started to see a light. And then one thing that I noticed on a tree that was right out in front of me was I noticed the white outline of a female. And it was very interesting. I was very drawn to it, so I actually exited the vehicle and walked up to her and had a conversation with her, and she actually told me a couple of things that at that point I did not want to believe, however, ended up being true, which was very strange that it ended up happening. I'm still very, very much kind of convinced that she was trying to warn me of a part of my life, the depressed part of my life that I mentioned in the last video was coming, and I didn't want to believe that was happening, because at that point I was relatively happy. What was also interesting is that there was no rain or anything in the area. In fact, it was the heat of winter, and yet whenever we were descending the mountain to head back into town, there was lightning that was happening the whole ride down the mountain. It was a very, very freaky experience. If I had a song written, the band I'd probably have it perform with is Alice in Chains, because I love dirt. I've written a lot of songs kind of in that style. That'd probably be my choice. Hey, are you going to do any Hammerfall or Manowar album reviews anytime soon? Asks William White. Probably not, unless they get a new release and I get the itch to do it. No, nothing against them. If you like them, that's great. Three favorite symphonic metal bands, asks Daughter of Vampire. I kind of consider Nightwish to be in that category a little bit, especially their newer work. There was a band that was more of an avant-garde band, but influenced a lot of symphonic elements, and that was Elland. I really, really like them. And I was thinking of a third one. Rhapsody of Fire has some great symphonic elements that I really like, and I almost said Elephants again. This is a lot of just favorite band stuff, favorite tech death bands, stuff like The Faceless, Obscura, gotta love that. Thank you, Smokescreen Abyss, for the question. DK Devil Kid, what is your favorite Led Zeppelin song ever, not including Stairway? Probably Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. I really liked what they did with that song, or Since I've Been Loving You. There's a lot of great Led Zeppelin stuff. Gotta just love Led Zeppelin. It's a fantastic band. Let's go with what is your favorite video game of all time? Elation 2. I think I answered this before, but Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, man. I really, really love that game. I usually play through that at least once a year. I'm actually behind. I need to get through my playthrough. I would love to speedrun it sometime, also on camera, just for the fuck of it. Maybe I'll actually ask a question about that here in a minute, but in a separate video, but I want to know what you guys think about it. What is your favorite all-time book and why? Plus, what locations have you traveled to on your vacations? Asked the 9th. My all-time favorite book is called The Black Arts. It was it's more of a textbook. I was talking about all of the different origins of what many people consider to be the black arts, the dark arts, even though it involves, you know, more than just Satanism. It involves both white and black magic. It involves the chakras. It involves numerous ideas. I wish I could actually walk off camera. I know I could exactly get to the book, but it's right now blocked by a chair. My bookcase, that is. But I love that book. It was fantastic. It was so good that I had to actually order a copy for myself. I actually got it from my school library whenever I was in college, just to kind of check it out. However, locations that I've traveled to the Bahamas, I've been to Canada, I've been to Florida, I've been to Los Angeles, California, I've been to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, all the way up and down the East Coast, with the exception of the northernmost states. I've spent a day in Las Vegas, I've spent a day in Boston. Got to have a lot of love and respect for everybody in Boston. It's going through what they are with the Boston Marathon bomber. Just a lot of great places. I've never gotten a chance to go to Europe or any places like that, but that's next on my list, hopefully. Favorite auto company, asks FTWX Tact Kill. I don't have one. I drive a car because it's transportation. Could care less. Always kind of wanted a yellow Mazda whenever I was a kid, and I think to this day I still kind of have regressions of wanting that, but meh, we'll see what happens. And finally, Bass Maniac, best song of Pantera. I love songs from them that are kind of a little bit different, like Hollow. I really, really love Hollow from Pantera. The Sleep is another song that I just would play over and over and over again. Dime's solo on that track is just, wow. Actually, he has one other question, so we'll get that out of the way before we go to part number 10. And what do you think that the new musicians should do? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. If you mean, what should they do? How should they live? They should, probably masturbate at least twice a day, practice at least 7 times a day, do a lot of drugs, and worship Satan. Make a deal with the devil. You might die earlier, but you'll make great music, and I'll probably give you great reviews. Nah, man, just do what comes naturally, you know what I mean? Whatever your style of music is, just, practice, practice, practice. It's the best thing I can do. Find people that you can work with, people that actually share your dream, and don't, be willing to compromise with them whenever it comes to the music, because they have dreams too. It's not just your dream. You guys want to be big together instead of you being big and them just kind of being along for the ride, because that's kind of not cool. All right, man, we're gonna make it to part number 10. So stay tuned, and thank you once again for however many subscribers this is now. Sorry that this is taking so long, but we're getting there. We're more than halfway there. We're almost 3/4 of the way there. Over 300 comments, man. I mean, this is a lot of questions, and I want to take time to answer each and every one of them. See ya.